instead of just working on your microbiome, or instead of just working on your brain function, or instead of pulling each of these systems apart and trying to improve each of those systems individually, by supporting the infradian rhythm, it gives you all of that at the same time. It's very efficient. It's going to, I'm a systems thinker, so I'm always like, what is the deepest, most root foundational piece that I can work on that's going to give me the most yield for my effort, the most bang for my buck. And 20 years into supporting my infradian rhythm, I can tell you that is certainly the case.
Well, and the beginning of your book, like while you're kind of prepping us to learn all about the infradian rhythm, it's like you're teaching us like why we don't know about it. And it made me angry. Like I was fired up. And it makes me think like with the circadian rhythm, because women and men experience it, I feel like, okay, we've had all this research done and they're really, really pushing it. But then because the infradian rhythm follows our 28-day cycle, 28-ish day cycle.
Yeah, it's your monthly cycle. And
right.
A monthly cycle does not need to be 28 days. So just for the people who are like, well, what is this, all the language? Circadian means around a day, and infradian means longer than a day. And for humans, and women especially, this refers to our monthly cycle. We experience it as our monthly cycle. But what it does is it impacts 6 different systems of the body. It's not just affecting your cycle. And yes, why does the circadian rhythm get more love and attention? I definitely go into that in the book, but it's a couple things. One, the male hormonal pattern follows the circadian biological rhythm pretty closely. So, it's not a stretch when you understand the science of these biological rhythms, why society is so set up to have men succeed. Because, if you look at corporate culture or just anything, it's all based on the male hormonal pattern.
Which when I read through that, it was really mind-blowing for me. I'm like, oh my goodness, we are trying to live women in this 9-to-5 world. And maybe a certain week of our cycle, maybe around like ovulation where we have that more energy or whatever, it might work. But there's other times where like our body doesn't want to live in that.
Well, it isn't. I mean, listen, you have both clocks. So don't get me wrong. You can exist in you can wake up with the sun and go to bed when it's dark. That's not a problem. But what's a challenge is that you try to organize your eating, your exercise, and what you're working on within a 24-hour pattern that mimics the male hormonal pattern. So here's a great example. People always ask me, "Oh, Lisa," in interviews, like, "What's your morning routine?" So I'll answer that in a second. I'll tell you what my morning routine is. But then I also see a lot of success business, like gurus with their here's my morning routine YouTube video.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that the ones I'm talking about, they're like,
I do.
I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I
do
meditate,
all these things before.
And I write a chapter of my book and I work out really hard. And by 9 o'clock, I'm ready to get to other things.
Yeah.
And I'm just like sitting there going, oh my God, first of all, that is totally appropriate if you are someone who produces testosterone while you sleep. Wake up fully charged with testosterone and cortisol at around between 5 and 6 a.m. So yes, if you have testicles, that is a good morning routine for you. If you have ovaries, it's terrible. And what's frustrating about that is that women then think that they are failures.
Yes.
That you have no willpower, that you are somehow failing and you'll never succeed because your morning routine doesn't match that of these guys that are telling you how to be successful. And what I'm advocating here is not a battle of the sexes. I am simply saying that it has worked for centuries for men to organize capitalism, corporate culture, personal entrepreneurship, their health, being professional athletes, all of it around their hormonal pattern. And I'm simply stating in this book that it is long overdue for women to do the same. And I give all the scientific proof and
Yeah.
backing that it is not only safe for you to do it, because meaning like you'll continue to be successful in your life if you step into your own biological paradigm, but that it is imperative for you to do it.
Mm.
Because what's really happening, Nina, is that when women are living out of sync with their infradian rhythm, everything that they do in their life, their food, their diet, their work, becomes an endocrine disruptor.
Yep.